Hey man, I just want to come on here and say, like, either way, I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the mindset you gotta have. Like, I'm going to make it, and at this point, bro, like, I'm gonna get rich or I'm gonna die trying, bro. Like, I refuse any other option. You know what I mean? Like, at this point in my life, I'm starting to realize that the only things that matter in life for real are keeping God first, keeping a close relationship with the people you love, and dedicating your life to a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Dedicating your life to a cause that you would die for at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And I think the most noble thing as a man is to be able to lay it down all at the end and say, like, I gave it my all. I gave it my best. Whether I get there or whether I don't. You know what I'm saying? Whether I fall short or whether I land exactly where I need to land. I gave it my all and I went out on my shield and I died trying. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's really the concept of today's video, you guys. I just want you guys to understand that once you find that purpose, once you find that big grand goal that you see yourself doing, that you want for yourself, the only logical thing to do is to go at it every single day with an unrelenting, aggression until the point where you either have everything that you ever wanted, or you know what I'm saying, you die trying, right? I will go into my very last breath, right, trying to push this content to you guys, trying to push this message to you guys, because at the very end of the day, my channel, I feel like, is a self-improvement channel. It's a, you know what I'm saying, a channel that is very God focused. It's very self-improvement focused. It's very focused on pushing the message to young men, but not only young men, young women as well, that, you know what I'm saying, being your best selves is the best way to go in life. And I feel like that's something noble, and I feel like that's a message that I'm willing to push and that I'm willing to go out behind. You know what I'm saying? And whether it gets as big as I want it to get or whether it doesn't, I feel like I'm doing something noble by pushing this message. So, yeah, man. At the end of the day, bro, I feel, like I said, this is something noble. This is a good message to push. And regardless of whether I get there or whether I don't, which, God willing, hopefully I get there. Not even hopefully, I know I will get there. I feel like this is something that I'm willing to go out behind and give it my all, right? I just want you guys to picture something, bro. Like, I refuse to leave this earth, bro. Like, knowing I didn't give it my all, bro. Imagine that you are on your last days, right? Your last breaths. Imagine you're in that hospital bed. Imagine you are laying down in that dirt, bleeding out, right? This is a very extreme example, but you know what I'm saying? It's the truth, right? Imagine you're taking your last breaths, bro, and you're just looking up at the sky, thinking back on your life and every single thing you did. Would you feel fulfilled? Would you feel completely satisfied if you know you still had more left in the tank? Would you feel completely satisfied if you know that you're going to leave with regrets? Would you feel completely satisfied if you know that, hey, I wanted to push this message, I wanted to help young people improve their lives, and I didn't give it everything I could, bro? I feel like I left something in the tank. I could have did more. I could have posted more videos. I could have pushed this message harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anyone would be satisfied with that result. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you guys, dedicate your life to something that is noble, something that is worth chasing, something that is worth having, and go after it every single day. You know what I'm saying? I made a TikTok about this earlier, but it was basically saying that there's no reason to feel like, you know what I'm saying, you can't achieve whatever you set your mind to, because in the Bible it says all works work. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord tells us all works work, man, and that, you know what I'm saying, eventually you will reap what you sow. first things first, God puts in us the ability to do every single thing that we put our mind to. Because we're all spiritual beings at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We're all created in his image. We're all created to be exactly like him. So with that being said, we're all powerful. We all hold a certain power inside of us. So first things first, God puts the ability to do anything inside of us at the end of the day. And what follows that ability is the desire. Next, he'll put the desire inside of you to go and achieve it. You know what I mean? So before you even receive the desire to do that, to push this message of, to be a content creator, to create that business, to get in the best shape of your life, to do anything that you desire, right? God put the ability inside of you to do it. So there's no reason to feel like, you know what I'm saying, you can't achieve. So God puts the ability into you first. God puts the desire into you to want it afterwards. And last but not least, you just have to follow it up with the action, right? So yeah, you guys, just make sure every single day you're showing up, you're following up with that action, you're meeting him halfway, because like I said, all works work. The Bible says all works work, bro. There's nothing that you put your mind to that you are not capable of achieving. You are 100% capable of achieving it. You are 1,000% capable of achieving every single thing you want in this lifetime. So, yeah, man, that's really one of the main things I want to push to you guys as well. Like, don't ever feel like whatever goal you have in your mind is too big or it's too grand, or, you know what I'm saying, it's not for you because you weren't there yet. No, it's absolutely for you because you have that desire in your head, because you have the desire in your heart to achieve it. You already have the ability. God placed the ability inside of you. The desire comes second. Remember that. The desire comes second. All works work. You can go get it because the desire is in your head, because the desire is in your heart. Now go and put the action behind it. Be consistent. Be smart with the actions you take and go and get it every single day. But yeah, man, I feel like that's just the most noble thing to do, man. I feel like I don't want to look back on my life when I am 80 years old, when I'm 90 years old, and feel like I had more left to give. You know what I'm saying? By the way, if y'all see me looking down, it's because I have my notes on my phone right here. So I'm reading off of my notes right now. And yeah. But yeah, as a man, bro, I'd rather die knowing I gave it all and I went out on my shield, bro, than, you know what I'm saying, just not giving it my all, or feeling like I had more left to give. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I was watching Troy, right? And I'm not sure if you guys know what Troy is, but Troy is basically a movie about the Trojan War. It's like a ancient Greek type of movie. It has a lot of war, gods, goddesses, that type of stuff in it, right? And it's a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brothers, we love the movie Troy. The Odyssey just came out. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the Odyssey, but that's like a part 2, essentially, to Troy. But yeah, you guys should go watch that movie if you haven't watched it already. But yeah, I remember I was watching Troy, bro. And one of the main characters, his name is Achilles, right? And he's basically like this big warrior, right? He's like the greatest fighter of all time, right? The greatest fighter to step foot on planet Earth. And he's not really scared of fighting anyone because he's the greatest warrior, right? And I remember there was a scene on the beach, right? Basically, the king of, you know what I'm saying, one of the armies, they know he's the greatest fighter, so they came out, they wanted to ask him to fight with their army, right, so that they'd have an advantage in the war. And you know what I'm saying, he really doesn't like this king much. He has personal issues with the king. He has personal grievances with the king himself. But he was going through this toss and turn in his mind of whether or not he wanted to actually just go do it, right, and put that to the side, because he didn't know whether or not it was worth it, right? And I remember he was having a conversation with his mother on the beach before he left, And his mom basically, and I'm probably butchering this, but this was essentially what they were talking about. His mom basically said, like, you have two options. Like, you can stay here with your family and play it safe, you know what I'm saying? And you'll live for a longer time, you know what I'm saying? You'll live to see your kids be born, and they'll love you and they'll remember your names. But eventually your kids and your kids will be gone, and your name will be washed with history, right? It'll be gone as well. Or option two, you can go and fight in this war, right? You can dedicate your life to something noble that you feel like is worth going out and dying on your shield for, a noble cause, right? And you'll likely die sooner than if you were to stay here, but your name will be remembered for generations, by your kids, your grandkids, grandkids, and everyone else who has never met you a day in your life. Like, history will remember your name, essentially. So you can stay here and play it safe, and you know what I'm saying, you may live slightly longer, but your kids will remember your names, your grandkids will remember your names, and after that, I mean, your name will be washed in history, right? It'll be gone. Or you can go and dedicate your life to this war and maybe die trying, you know what I'm saying? Likely die trying. But your name will be remembered throughout the rest of history, bro. And that was just extremely crazy to me. I don't know why that came to my head, but yeah, you guys, like that, it kind of reminds me of the concept, like, right, I'd rather get rich or die trying. I'd rather dedicate my life to what I'm trying to achieve or die trying, right? I feel like that is the best way to go out as a man. I remember there was one more quote in that movie before I wrap this up, because the video getting a little long, but there was another quote in that movie from Achilles too. And it was basically when he first decided, like, yeah, I'm going to the war. He had been in his tent, right? And the war had started. And like I said, he didn't like the king that he was fighting for. So when the first battle started, he wasn't with the army initially, right? He was still in his tent chilling, right? Because he didn't even know. And they sent a messenger to go send for him to get him, because they wanted to go ahead and end the war early. So they said, yeah, send your best fighter on this side, I'll send my best fighter. Achilles wasn't with the army, so they looked back and they said, somebody go send a messenger for Achilles, go get him, right? We need him. So boom, somebody goes back to the village, and word gets around, blah, 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 blah. And there's this kid, this young boy, and he knows where Achilles is. He finds his tent, he goes inside, and he says, hey, yeah, they're sending for you. Like, the army's looking for you. They need you, right? And he basically also said, like, there's the guy on the other side that you're set to fight. He's one of the biggest men we've ever seen. Like, I wouldn't want to fight him. And Achilles basically looked down at him and he said, and that's why no one will remember your name. And I don't know, that stuck with me a lot, right? He was willing to go out and die for this cause. He was willing to go out and die on this shield, and he knew it might cost him his life, but he knew that his name would live on whether he died or whether he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he said, this guy is huge. Like, he's one of the biggest men that we've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him. And he looked down at the little boy and said, that's why no one will remember your name. That's deep, you guys. But yeah, to wrap this video up, man, that's the message of today, man. Dedicate your life to something noble. Dedicate your life to a cause that's worth fighting for. My bad, y'all. SD card died. But yeah, I was wrapping up the video literally 5 seconds afterwards anyway. But yeah, dedicate your life to something that's worth going out for, man. Make sure you get rich or you die trying, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to say. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I love y'all. I'm seeing y'all in the next one.